let's move on to a team that I think people are struggling to root for within the most recent times, and that is the Dallas Cowboys. They've brought in Dante Fowler, Javonte Williams, Solomon Thomas, Peyton Turner. Re-signed Israel Mukaramu, Brian Anger. They brought in Miles Sanders as well. They did lose to Marcus Lawrence, Jordan Lewis, Brandon Cooks, Cooper Rush, Rico Dowdle, Trey Lance. That's the big shout out for Sky, just in case he's watching this. We remember how much you love Trey Lance. Did a fair bit of trading within the draft, but then they did do some player trades as well. They traded in for Kyer Elam, Kenneth Murray, Joe Milton. They also brought in George Pickens, obviously, from the Steelers, with picks all involved there. And then when you look at their draft, they took Tyler Booker with the 12th pick from Alabama, defensive lineman. I'm going to smash this first time, but Donovan Ezaraku, bang, smashed it. I've no problems in these deep dives with names. I've been very, very consistent. Boston College defensive end. Brought in Savone Revel in the 3rd round, cornerback out of East Carolina. Jaden Blue, the running back out of Texas, in the 5th round. They make all these moves, Adam. They've signed these players. They've traded. They've improved, some may say. And yet, is it just the same old Dallas Cowboys?
Well, yeah, because that's what the Dallas Cowboys are. It always is the same old Dallas Cowboys. Look, I think the positives, I would say, is that I think they had a good draft. I do think they drafted quite a few decent players. I like Tyler Booker. I think he'll be a good guard. Donovan Ezaraku, I think, is potentially a very good edge rusher who was being touted as a potential 1st-round pick. So the fact they got him in the 2nd's good. Siobhan Ravel, I don't mind at corner. I think there are better ones, but I think that he can do a job for them. And I think that Jaden Blue could be good at running back for them. After that, it did kind of drop off a little bit, but you're talking like late round picks, so it's not too bad. So I think the players that they picked were all right when it comes to that. And I think looking back on it now, we were all going they're going wide receiver. Obviously, they traded for George Pickens, so that was kind of like their wide receiver too. So you can kind of see why they've done what they've done during the draft, and I think they did okay. In free agency, I don't really feel like they added anyone that's really going to move the needle for them at all. It kind of felt like they're all okay, but then the guys they lost were okay, and it just doesn't feel like much has changed. So I think when you look at it from that point of view, there's potential for the future with some of these younger guys, but nothing fantastic for now. They've put Brian Schottenheimer in as head coach, which obviously internal promotion, not great, not something that you feel like is necessarily going to work amazingly. The offensive coordinator, Clayton Adams, has come from the Cardinals, and he was the offensive line coach, which doesn't really thrill you with a lot of confidence, I have to say, from what the Cardinals were like over the last few years. And then Matt Eberflus, obviously coming from the Bears, who I think could be a decent defensive coordinator. I think he's shown before he's okay as a DC. I think they want to be tougher. I think when you look at the type of people that they drafted and who they've brought in, it's about being tougher on the lines, I think, is what they're trying to achieve. And overall, I think that this season, they have to look at it as though it's about being competitive. But I have to say, I think there's a very, very strong chance that this team could completely capitulate and fall away. Because when you actually look at that roster, you sort of think Dak is getting older and he's always getting injured. CeeDee Lamb is obviously great. Is Pickens fantastic? I think he could be a decent wide receiver too, but I wouldn't get too excited about him. The O-line, I think, has improved slightly with Tyler Booker coming in, but not amazingly. And the defense, was pretty poor, especially against the run, yeah, I think that Matt Eberflus might be able to help it out, but I don't think it's going to be a great. I kind of worry for him. And also, I think the owner's only interested in making money as well, which doesn't help.
Speaking of crazy Jerry, I mean, he sits there in his white temple in Dallas, Andrew. It's bizarre, isn't it? It's just such a show now with him and how that organization works. And I'm afraid we've talked about it in a lot of these deep dives. I think it's a joke that the Steelers maybe take the piss out of someone like the Jets for being a badly run organization, when I think we're becoming a very bad run organization now. And I think the Cowboys are now within that as well. I think they have become a really badly run organization. I mean, this Micah Parsons stuff as well, which we haven't touched on either. I mean, the fact they got rid of Mike McCarthy, who I admit wasn't, for me, an incredible head coach, but, ex-Super Bowl winner. They've promoted someone in-house in Brian Schottenheimer. They've not sorted out Micah Parsons. They've been throwing contracts here, left, right, and center. We still don't really know what we're having with Dak Prescott. I mean, it's a mess.
It is a mess. And I think Jerry needs to maybe go on a trip with Aaron Rodgers and go to a dark retreat and sit there and realize that he's old now. He's not the young guy that he was when he first started. He obviously thinks that he knows a bit about football and can run the Dallas Cowboys that way. But I think it's time that he goes, you know what? I'm out of it now, and I'm not on the ball like I used to be. And I should maybe let some of the kids give it a go, maybe, or someone else, take that.
He bloody has all the kids in there. They all bloody do everything. They're all on the board or here, that, and the other with what they do.
But yeah, like, they're not listening to the fans. That is bizarre. They're hiring head coaches that not a single person had on their board to even interview as a head coach. When they're making draft picks, they're not looking at positional needs. They're just kind of like whatever Jerry wants sort of thing. And then he's sitting there, everybody's hands going, yeah, cheer me. And we're kind of going like, well, the fans are asking for this. And you haven't, delivered over the last how many years now. And why not just give them something to grasp onto? You can't. You've got your best player lying on a table in pre-season, sort of not even caring, saying, "I don't want to be here." He's got, what are the what are the owner has their own podcast and leaks everything to everyone as well. It's just,
it's
you've
so
got to be worried about
ridiculous.
Adams, you said at the start, is it just same old Cowboys? I don't think it's same old Cowboys, because same old Cowboys is, 12 wins, get to the playoffs, knocked out in the first round.
Sorry, I know what you're saying, but I think I was meaning as in last season.
Drama. Yeah,
What do you two make of this Micah Parsons thing? Do you think he's going to go? Do we generally think he's going to go?
No, I think eventually it will be done, because they're just going to keep him. And even if he comes out and goes, I'm not going to play.
Say about the organization if they keep
him?
Yeah,
but he does. Yeah, but they don't care. I think the thing is what everyone needs to understand. Like I say, it's all about making money. It's all about the revenue and the overall value. And he doesn't care if he loses out on like 100 million or whatever because he's paid Micah Parsons. This is exactly the same as Dak. It's exactly the same as Ezekiel Elliott was. He doesn't care as long as the overall value goes up, because the million is a long, long way. The 100 million is a long way away from the billion. And that's what it's about, isn't it, with Jerry? It's all about the overall value of it. So when you look at it, I don't think you'd find many teams where I think the owner would rather their team be in the headlines all the time, because it keeps people looking at the Cowboys. For good or bad, all publicity is good publicity. That's the mantra that he runs with. And so I think he literally looks at it and goes, we are the top talking point.
Yeah, but
of every show.
We've just said the Eagles have got a really good locker room environment. People want to go and play there. But they want to win. No one's going to want to go to the Cowboys if they continue this. When you've got
The
players
thing
going,
is that you have to, like, you always have to pay people. People will go for the money. It doesn't matter how bad they are. You will always get people will want to go and play for America's team, and they'll want to go and earn loads of money.
I think it suited George Pickens to the ground being traded there. I mean, I know a lot of these trades, the player has absolutely zero involvement in it, but I'm sorry, when everyone was saying when he got traded there, I was very like, fine. I'm absolutely okay with it. You've just got a very bang average receiver in my book, to be honest with you. You've got someone who could be 1 week he's making a one-handed catch
they've got a problem child as well, haven't they? He causes issues.
Yeah, exactly. And
Mike Tomlin gets out on people at the right time. We know that. He always gets rid of people at the right time. So if you got rid of him, why would you pick him up?
What was the biggest thing that we were absolutely hitting the table about last year? They can't run the ball.
Run the ball. If you can't run the ball, Dak's no good.
And they brought Javonte Williams in, who has been a very bang average running back, though someone who I actually really like. I did really like him at Denver. Jayden Blue, you can say to the hilltops that Jayden Blue might be a success. Going to the Dallas Cowboys, I don't think he will be, to be honest.
He wasn't incredible at college. He was good. He caught some good passes on the TV. I'll tell you that.
And you brought in Phil Martha, who I don't know nothing about. You then got Miles Sanders, who's been a journey child last the two seasons, really 3 seasons. Then you've got Deuce Vaughn, who actually people were like, Deuce Vaughn's pretty all right. He could actually be like a double,
he's only 4 foot, so
but he can do like the Jalen Warren, Najee Harris thing that happened at Steelers, or what happens at a lot of places where he can be the guy. They did that with Pollard and Elliott, didn't they? They had that double tandem, and maybe that's what they're going to try and do. But like that, it's screaming. The holes are screaming there, and they said that they have a fitness issue as well. They don't seem to keep very fit. The guys they've brought in, you could go, they paid people too early. Trayvon Diggs is over the hill. Kenneth Murray, though, has now gone to 2 or 3 teams now. Kyer Elam never really proved it in Buffalo. Malik Hooker's an older guy. Israel Mukuama is also an older guy. Adigazua on the D-line, I do really, really like. Marshall Nealon's all right. Solomon Thomas is way over the hill.
Their defense wasn't great last year, and I don't think they've improved it. I think it's got worse.
Exactly. You've actually taken out. They actually got rid of what was like sort of the Dallas Cowboys leading guy, which was God. We've just talked about him a minute.
They haven't got DeMarcus Lawrence and
DeMarcus Lawrence, who was Mr. Dallas.
Are gone, aren't they?
Yeah. It's not about the result.
Yeah, but we need to talk about the result because that's what we're talking about. We're gone away from
but I'm just saying, from the point of view of the organisation, it's not about the result.
I think they're at serious danger of finishing last in this group. I think.
Oh, well, like I said, I think they've got a very good chance of capitulating.
The O-line is very, very, very young, and the left tackle has some big questions.
Very Tyler heavy as well. That's a bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's that all about?
I think if that O-line gets overpowered and Dak hasn't got the mobility anymore and there is no run game, you can't get the ball to CeeDee Lamb.
No.
So I think this team could get overpowered by some teams, and it's not going to go well for them.
Isn't in Blue Mountain State when they get that quarterback in Golden Arm, and he goes, "Haven't you? Isn't it the Tylers?" He goes, "Haven't you met the Tylers?" And it is 5 offensive linemen called Tyler.
I think so.
I'm sure it is. Haven't you met the wall of?
Well, they're making a film of it, so maybe the Dallas Cowboys are getting themselves involved in it.
Exactly.
One way for Jerry to make money.